What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning to another episode of Right on Cue Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Logan Chestnut, Small Batch Barbecue. Joining me tonight is my friend, Mr. Matt Osmond Sr. From Blinky's Offset Barbecue, aka Green Beans are Beans. That's right. if there was any doubt, there was no doubt no more.
Absolutely. What's going on, man?
Oh my gosh, dude! I'm trying to get over this snot in the back of my throat, man. I can't kick it.
Wait, is it so April? Do you live in Middle Tennessee? Is that what's going on?
I know, man. We had this thing called pollen and nature, and everybody hates me.
That's so crazy.
Everybody hates me. How you been, buddy? Man, you just got back from the contest.
I did. We went down to Springfest in South Haven. It's a dual, almost a try with Kids Q. There is MBN and KCBS. So we cooked with Old Booger Bear as a team. We turned in 7 boxes. JC, which is Bugsy Q. Well, 3 for MBN and the 4 for KCBS.
You did it. Yeah, you did me in too. I got you.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we didn't hear our name called for MBN, but we did manage a 8th place port call on the KCBS side. So of course, everybody was hooting and hollering. And it was fun. We like to cook. We threw a couple of new things, and we actually had the chance, and big thanks to John Wheeler for lending us the mailbox that he won Memphis and Mahon. So I had the opportunity to put my hands on that and ran the cook on it. Felt like I did it justice as best as I could. But that pit will be more for JC for Bugsy Q coming up for World Juniors, and just making sure to learn the in and outs. But fantastic cooker, man. Can't say enough about those old hickories.
Absolutely. Speaking of not getting your name called, did you hear, or are you living under a rock, the NFL draft controversy?
Listen, me and a buddy of mine have been texting back and forth. What I love even more, it sucks, but the whole prank call thing where somebody got his number.
That was so funny.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it
was harsh. It was harsh, but fair.
But you know what? Look at the other thing. Not to draw much of a parallel, and it's not a football podcast, but what's his Nico, whatever from
I'm leaving.
Yeah, and and look, man. At the end of the day, personality and things that you say do matter because it's off the field. Your performance on the field should be the first thing, but
yeah, dude. My favorite thing is he had a custom draft room made.
Yeah,
and then he kept sitting there, and I'm like,
and he went in the 5th round, right?
5th round, yeah. I was like, so I told my friends, I said, this is the most watched 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds of all time. The viewership was through the roof.
Yeah, he definitely sat on his hands for a while, but I know that, or at least I think I know that our guest has been to many awards and not sat on his hands.
He does. He's the Roger Goodell of barbecue, some might say. Tonight's guest is a very special one. We are honored to have him on. He is the El Jefe of this lovely sport we like to call competition barbecue and KCBS. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's won 1 or 2 championships in his heyday. Makes some of the finest seasonings in all the land. And yeah, man. So without further ado, let's welcome to the Right on Cue pod, Mr. Rod Gray. I gotta get
nice. How are you?
Good, man. I gotta get. I saw that was pretty low tech, but I gotta get my my little clapping. My soundboard working. I'm so cheap. I gotta get my soundboard back working. But Rod, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I know you are a busy man, and
I'm excited to be here. I'm a little slower thinking maybe than I used to be, but Matt, I finally placed you.
Yes, sir.
You're the guy that submitted the green beans at the American Royal. You're the guy.
Green bean. Well, unfortunately, because just for a quick recap of anybody and whatnot, at the Royal a couple years back, I wanted to run green beans as the bean entry, and I feel very firm, and thankfully, everything that I saw from last year there was clarification, let's call it. But I made a stance. Green beans should have been a legal entry. Unfortunately, I was told if I turned green beans in, they were likely to be disqualified. So I opted to not. And, it was 318th place or something.
But you're only telling part of the story. You turned them in the previous. You came and asked.
Yes.
The previous year. As I recall, I didn't hear it firsthand, but it was relayed to me that you proclaimed that green beans would win the bean category.
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh.
And you submitted them the year prior. I don't remember how they finished, but we should have named the rule after you. Last year's rule change, we should have named after you.
I mean, bean controversy.
Yeah, I would take that as a great honor. Anyway,
you're the inspiration for that change in the American Royal rules. You're the inspiration.
And you know what? If that's my mark on competition barbecue at the Royal,
hey, at least you have one. Yes. At least you have one, right? Absolutely. You also, but now I'm going to update. Last year at the World Invitational, you also introduced me to your pickles. Which
I
fully intended to get back by and see you about that, and that whole thing is just a blur because that's how it is when you're trying to put on a contest like that. So
Ruthie's cinnamon pickles, absolutely,
they're outstanding. They were outstanding.
You, I appreciate
that. So good. But Rod, man, thank you so much. I think we're your third stop. You've been a busy man on the podcast seed. Yeah, I think we're your third stop on the horizon. Probably a couple more. You're spreading the gospel about the KCBS Invitational, correct?
We are. That's what I'm here for. We're back in Lebanon, Tennessee, Memorial Day weekend again. Bigger and better. We have over $80,000 in prize money that weekend, and it just got a little bigger. Logan, I'm using your show to announce something new. Compart Duroc, Jim Compart Duroc is coming on as a partner with KCBS for the Friday night rib one meet. Wow. He's adding $1,000 to our $2,000 prize purse, so $3,000 in that category. He's also got a $500 bounty if you win the category with Compart ribs. He's going to put the bill for a big fat rib championship ring for the winner.
Oh, nice.
It should make Friday night a little more interesting. Goes right along with our brand new anything molasses category from Grandma's Molasses. That category pays $7,500 just for that category.
That's a lot of molasses there.
The $3,000 winner and pays 10 places deep. Places 6 through 10 pay $250, I think. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be an interesting Friday night, which is a new addition to the World Invitational. But Holiday is back with their cocktail category, like always. This year we're going to feature bourbon. For people that don't know yet, it's been vodka previously, and we also have a new public-facing side where we're going to have a People's Choice and some music and a beer garden, and the kids' queue is going to be over there. It's going to be a busy barbecue weekend in Lebanon, Tennessee this year.
Well, I tell you what, we are so excited to have it in Lebanon because I don't know if you know this, but me and Mr. Osmond down here are. We're not that's down the road. I'm in Clarksville, Tennessee, and Matt's you're about 15, 20 minutes away. So anytime we get home or home court territory, we're not against that.
Excellent. And what would you say Clarksville is? Is it an hour from Lebanon?
Yeah, about 50 minutes, depending on. And once I get through Nashville traffic, then it all depends.
Yeah. We it's a long weekend for us, and the staff comes down, so we get out of there on Sunday, and we make it to Paducah and spend the night. And we only have 6 hours home to Kansas City. So, but all my traveling is the Flying J considered in Clarksville?
Yeah, we have a Flying J. Yep, pretty
one
soon.
Of my home away from home. That was
pretty soon. We'll have a Buc-ee's. That's
really.
That's a new addition. We're getting some Buc-ee's heading this way. So we're joining the cool kids with some beef nuggets and brisket sandwich. Just what you want after a barbecue contest, a brisket sandwich.
Exactly. Stop for one more brisket sandwich. You don't want to lose the feeling. Yeah, that Flying J was one of my fuel stops all the years I traveled through there competing.
Isn't that funny how for competition barbecuers we have certain gas stations in mind, It's like, which way are you going? Let me tell you which gas station you need to stop at with a trailer. Because there's nothing worse being in the middle of nowhere and you're second guessing about which gas station you can or cannot fit in. I've had to park my truck and trailer like on the side adjacent to the gas station, and I'll go back and forth with a 5-gallon can to fill my truck up because I can't get my 30-foot trailer in the little podunk gas station. So
wouldn't you do that about 2 or 3 times and then go down the road and find where you can fuel? Maybe I don't know.
No, I get angry at that time. I'm like, I'm not stopping. After our contest, you're like, hell or high water, I'm making it home.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to be stuck without gas with a barbecue trailer in the back. But man, anyways, let's talk about some of the additions you got going on. I want to emphasize that because that's, it's different than previous years. And I'm happy to see that you're getting the public involved, which is something we talk about on this show quite often whenever it comes to, improvements that we can do as a cooking, conglomerate. So you got some live music and you have some cooking demonstrations and mixology stuff going on, correct?
We do. So, we reserve the entire fair. It's the Wilson County Fairgrounds. They've grown up and want to be called the James E. Ward Agricultural Center. So we do our best. But anybody who's ever been to the Tennessee State Fair knows what those grounds are like. There's just tons of opportunities and possibilities with as big as those grounds are. So we don't use much of it. We had 147 teams there last year, and we could have taken on another 50 teams in terms of space easily, plus all the other grounds. So yeah, we came up with the idea, and this has been an age-old question in competition barbecue: is what do you do to get the people involved, the public involved? Because otherwise, they walk up and down those aisles, they smell that smoke, they see you guys pulling beautiful-looking ribs out of a pit, and they wonder why they can't taste anything. So we're dipping our toe. We're trying not to overwhelm ourselves with it, but we're going to do a People's Choice event. We are going to ask teams if they cook a pork butt for us. We're going to have live music on the stage pretty much all day through the end of the evening. We're going to have a beer garden, but they're also going to serve wine and mixed holiday distillery cocktails. We're going to have some food vendors over there. We're going to have some exhibitors there. We're going to try to do some cooking demos with some people, and it's going to be a great time on that weekend. We've had a lot of folks from around Lebanon, when they hear about our event, tell folks back. The feedback is, oh, we've needed something on that weekend around here. This might work out great. So that's the idea, is to bring some barbecue to Lebanon for the public on that weekend as well.
Do you think the food vendors who are cooking barbecue for that should maybe cook a competition style barbecue?
If you want to go,
the vendors aren't. We're not asking any barbecue vendors in, Matt. We know better than that. It's not our first rodeo. We're not going to bring in barbecue vendors. So
I was about to say, like, what time can I pick up my brisket?
Exactly. Exactly.
Around 12 would be nice.
Yeah.
Now, is Pellet Envy gonna bust out of retirement to come do a cooking demonstration?
That might be the number one question I get when I come on these shows these days is, hey, when are you coming out of retirement?
It's got to be.
I don't think I can keep up with you young guns anymore. I think I'm past my prime.
Hey, if Darren can still get out there and do it, you need to go show him up.
Darren, man, you said a mouthful there. That guy can still cook, huh? That's impressive, Darren. And I think he enjoys it more now than he did back when we were all running hard.
Well, now he's in it for the fun. He's won all the awards, and now he's just there to mess with people's head.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. Hey, speaking of it, our deadline to enter was the 23rd of April. And, I knew when we extended it, I knew we'd get the comments about, oh, they don't have enough people in it. That we're down on numbers. I'll be honest with you. We're around 120 teams right now. So it's not like we're down in a way that we're desperate for teams. But before I came to KCBS, that shirt was created. It's got the KCBS logo on the back of it, but it's made out of team names. The whole reason that they made that deadline 30 days before the contest was so they could create that shirt.
Yeah.
And so we said, we kept with that tradition, and then we thought, wait a minute, let's open this up a little longer. People may not want to spend that kind of money, a full month out. So our new deadline is midnight on Monday, May 12th. You have till midnight, Monday, May 12th to enter. And if you're listening to me, and even if you're not qualified for the Sunday invitationals, whether it be the Master Series or the Backyard Series, you can still come cook the Friday night events and cook the Saturday Open if you want to. So it's kind of a something for everybody. And you two guys, you've been there and you're close to there. So we have amazing power.
Mhm.
We got plenty of space. There's indoor restrooms and showers all over the facility that can be used. The judging area is climate controlled, so we don't have to worry about judges getting hot or overheated. We're having a CBJ class on Thursday night there. Now, those judges won't be eligible to judge in the event, of course, because we're prioritizing Master Series judges. We usually get mostly Master, but don't be discouraged if you're not a Master. If you're JCAP certified, there's a chance you'll get to judge. The People's Choice, the live music, we just have a ton of stuff going on. Don't forget about the kids queue. We've got about 20 kids in kids queue.
That's awesome.
Weber's going to give us the grills, and Snake River's going to give us the proteins. So we'd love a few more kids in that, but it's a full lineup for that weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, and the location, like I said, I mean, obviously we're a little biased as far as, we like the location, but I mean, if you guys haven't been there, which I mean, a lot of our guests have, but I mean, Jason and Eric, they do a contest earlier in the year, and you almost couldn't pick a better spot I feel like for a large scale barbecue competition. It's just so well laid out. It's easy. It's you're not in the mud. Unless you're on the concrete pad and it rains for 12 hours and you're on Lake KCBS, as we called it last year.
Yeah.
Where us and the backyarders are. That was fun. You know what? We went out, we got a squeegee, we had a great time. It's a blast. Hopefully no tornadoes this year, but it makes it exciting. It makes it exciting.
I do need to say that Jason and Eric are the reason that we're in Lebanon. I came on board with KCBS and they'd already, it was already set up to go to Gadsden in 22. And I will tell you, the city of Gadsden and the staff worked their tails off to make us feel welcome and do all the things they did for us. And we had a great time there. We were a little cramped on space. I don't remember our numbers. I think we were around 110 teams and we really had to shoehorn some people in. And so then I wanted to bring it back closer to home. And so we went over to Mayetta, Kansas, to the casino and had it where it had been held the second year, I think, or the first year. And it was fine. All RV pads and a great setup. But after Gadsden, Jason called me and said, "You need to come look at Lebanon, Tennessee." And I said, "Jason, I want to be a little closer to home." After Mayetta, Jason called again and said, "Rod, I'm just telling you, you need to come look at this facility." And so on my way to the Jack in 23, I stopped off there, and instantly he met me there. And I knew as soon as I drove in, it was the place where we were going to have this event next. It's a great spot. Jason and Eric set a high bar, but Jason and Eric also worked tirelessly to help us organize this event. Their fingerprints are all over this contest that we have down there, and I'm thankful for them because they've been just a boon of help.
Absolutely. Well, and also, on this show, because tip my hat to Mr. Eric himself. I have my hat on just for you, buddy. But no, man, that's all. Yeah, so we're really looking forward to it. Like I said, I myself, as a backyarder, I'm not going to cook the open, but I'm very excited about the other two. You have the ribbon, or is it the rib cook, and then is it chicken as well, or is it just?
We're going to do chicken on Friday night. We're going to do ribs on Friday night, and then we're going to do anything molasses on Friday night.
And so you kind of get 3 contests in one weekend, and I get the practice for the invitational. So it's awesome.
And just for clarification, that is open to any cook, not in the open or the invitational. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, that's a possibility too. Absolutely, Matt. I'll tell you too, because I haven't told anybody this yet either, that we like 26, that chicken one meat and that rib one meat maybe becomes the championship for all the one meets that happen around the country. So they qualify from the one meets all over the country and come.
Okay.
And we may throw in winners of chicken categories and rib categories from contest too. We're not sure. We're taking a good hard look at that. There's still some more work to be done there, but I think it's a great idea. And I hope I hope Jim Compart sees what he wants to see and wants to come back in 26 and make that event bigger and better. And yeah, that's the goal. I'd like to keep it there, by the way. If I can, I'd like to keep it right where it is.
No,
awesome.
we would love that too. If you don't mind, like I said, we have a couple of questions based on the invitational from the crowd. If you don't mind, like I said, we got TNS barbecue competitions. They're asking, can a cook team take the judge class?
Absolutely. I encourage. That's how I got started. Is I took the CBJ class to learn what I thought people wanted in the judging area. That's one of the first things I did when I started competing.
I got you. Also, another question. Michael Williams says, what does it cost to cook the Friday night rib cook?
$100.
$100. You can't beat that, man. Can't beat that.
$100, $3,000 in prize money.
There you go.
That's going to be great. I have a question for you. As a backyard team myself, say I cook the open, does that, and lightning strikes and I hit the Powerball, does that have any influence on the backyard status or?
No, that's interesting. Logan, I'm glad you asked that, because when I came on to KCBS, I was trying to read and catch up on everything, and I ran across it. So when they created this event, it specifically says in the language that if a backyard wins the open, it does not affect their status. So no, cooking the open and doing well in the open, if you grand or reserve it, does not affect your status as a backyard cook.
That's great. Me and my friends, we always talk about, if we cook the Royal and if we win the Royal, I mean, if that's what causes us to lose our backyard status, we're like, you know what?
Hell yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mic drop. Absolutely. Time to move on. Absolutely.
Time to move on. But no, man. So if you don't mind, I want to transition because some of our viewers, a lot of our viewers are newer in the barbecue world. Would you mind telling me obviously a lot of competition people don't mind telling people who you are and like what your background is in the competition barbecue scene?
Sure. You know what I just noticed was a bottle of rub over your shoulder that I didn't notice until just now.
Right there.
So
I may or may not use that in my programs.
So I'm from Kansas City, and barbecue was taken for granted here. It still is, competition wise. There's just so many of them that I had always gone to the Great Lenexa barbecue here in town. I didn't grow up with barbecue. I grew up in central Kansas. We grilled. My dad gave us all grills for Christmas when we were like 12 years old, Weber grills, which was, I know that's strange, but we cooked a lot. It wasn't real barbecue. And I got up here and, barbecue is part of our culture in Kansas City. So I'd go out to the Great Lenexa barbecue contest. I didn't understand it. It didn't make sense to me, but it was fun. And I owned my own business, and my office manager, her and her dad would cook a barbecue contest every year. And in 2001, our Kansas Speedway was built, and they had some money they could earmark for a community service project is what they called it. So somehow they got in touch with Jeff Staney, owner of Joe's Kansas City, and the Slaughterhouse 5 barbecue team. And Jeff put on a contest on the infield at the NASCAR track before it had ever run a race. It was July. It was 103, new black asphalt, and my office manager invited me out to her and her dad's site out there. And I went out there expecting to see all these miserable people because it was so hot. Not only did I not find miserable people, there were 200 teams out there, and they were partying, having a blast. They had baby pools full of ice with lawn chairs in them, and they had misting fans. And I met Paul Kirk and I met David Close, who was both on Food Network the night before, and I left there saying, I have got to do this. I've got to get involved in this. So I went home that night, and there was an old message board called a forum called the Barbecue Forum. It was actually an insurance salesman out of Kansas City who'd done this. His name was Ray Basso. And I got on that forum and I read all night long. My wife was on a trip with her sister, and so I sat up all night long and read that forum. by the next morning, I decided I was going to buy a Hasty Bake because that's what had won the Royal 2 years earlier. And by Monday, I was driving to Tulsa to pick up a Hasty Bake. Came home and I burned up some meat on that thing. I mean, I know now it's a great cooker, but as of my very first cooker, I probably needed something a little easier to manage. And that drove me straight to buying a pellet pit. Fast Eddie Marin, Fast Eddie 100.
Yep.
Fast Eddie worked out of a firehouse here in Kansas City. And I went back on that forum and read, and I reached out to him. And a month or so later, I had a brand new shiny FE 100. They weren't FECs. It was just Fast Eddie 100. And he gave me a lot of tips. And I could cook all day while I was at work and come home and finish a brisket or whatever. And then we'd try it. And I still ruined a lot of meat, honestly, to start. But it gave me a chance to practice. So fast forward, I competed and we had some success. And then in 2006, 2007, I started teaching classes. And I don't know if that helped me. I'm not really sure what helped me. But 2009, I was a national champion. KCBS Team of the Year, national champion. And the next year, I wanted to repeat. Everybody wants to repeat. I don't know what's wrong with us. We try. And I ran up against Mike Wozniak from QAL. And Mike ended up sealing the deal and winning the Team of the Year. And I was runner-up that next year in 10. And after that, I really kind of burned out. It was so much travel and so much effort that I still competed. I finally retired in May of 19. Then I got a phone call that this job was open in 22 and asked if I'd throw my resume in, and I did. And here I am working for the Kansas City Barbecue Society, who I owe so much to for my barbecue career.
Right. Well, I mean, that's not a bad resume if you ask me. Like I said, you sprinkle in some barbecue pitmaster champion, sprinkle in, some amazing competition rubs and sauces and just small stuff.
So Rod, of all the contests, from your career and whatnot, which contest still to this day, right, 2025, sticks in your side, just a thorn that you never won and always wanted to? What's the one that comes to mind?
So I'm gonna answer that, but in a little different way. I think we won. I cooked nearly 500 contests in 20 years. And I think we won 64, 65 championship GCs in that period of time. I never won a major. I never won the Royal. I never won the Jack. The Royal I had an excuse for. I got an opportunity to cater an event at the Royal that was for 1,200 people, and we cooked it fresh. And Shad Curtin, a good friend and a competitor, and I did that. And we had to have a staff of 35 people. And by the time I was done with that Friday night, I just basically slept through Saturday and Sunday's contests. And that's a good reason that I never got that done. And the year I quit doing that, I reserved the Invitational, which is the closest I ever got. So the Royal is the one I always wanted to win. Preferably, either one would have been great. But the Invitational, the thing about the Royal Invitational is everybody who wins a contest gets invited. I love the Jack Daniels. I never cooked very well to Jack Daniels. My very first year, my wife won dessert there, which was incredible. There's a whole story I won't bore you with there, but it's funny. But I just never cooked well at the Jack. And the Jack's a little different. All those same teams get a bung in the draw, but only a certain number of them get to make it because it's a pretty limited event. But the Royal's the one. I love the contest, and I did well at it over the years, but I never won it. That's probably the one.
I got a question. Whenever QU caught lightning in a bottle and hit the double header, I mean, was there a call for recounts? Because I mean, the odds of that happening, he should have bought the Powerball and the Mega Million. I bet he'd had a better chance of winning those.
So 22. That's 22. I'd been on the job since August 15th, so 2.5 months. And the tabulation at the time was in that little place where you get your boxes. It's a storage unit on the end of a garage, and they're all lined up in there working, and I'm in there, and I hadn't been on very long, and pretty soon somebody lifted their head up and said to me, Rod, has a team ever won both days? And
No.
I knew, no, never been done. And I didn't think the next words were going to be, well, it was just done. But that was incredible what Grant did. That was just incredible.
I don't think you think that'll ever happen again. I mean,
no.
I had
it's the luck that's involved in that. I mean, it's not, you don't have to cook perfect. You also have to be extremely lucky.
Well,
because, I mean, cooking perfect's not good enough.
I heard he overcame a lot of adversity going from Saturday night to Sunday night with some celebrations.
I mean, I would need an IV.
So, I mean, I tell this story all the time to people who don't understand barbecue. You guys understand it, but imagine that there are 6 of you at a table and somebody says, let's order pizza. How many of those 6 people are going to agree on whatever type of pizza? It's not likely. So imagine that you have to turn in 1 box of barbecue and please 6 people who have varying taste. Mm-hmm. And at least 5 of them have to give you tremendous scores. And then that's one hurdle, but the next 3 hurdles are doing that 3 more times.
Yep.
Imagine the complexity and the percentages and the odds of accomplishing that. And yet we do it all the time. And we have teams. We have Brad Leininger, who's won 10 contests since the season started already. So
what's the most?
Pardon me?
What's the most on there? I was curious. We were talking about that earlier. Did you know the most wins a G season one season? Because this could be like the Michael's,
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps run.
Yeah, so I don't know. I know there have been teams that have won 10 contests, but it was in an era.
Not this early.
it was in not this early. No, this early. That's a whole nother thing. But it's in an era. It was in an era when the point system was different. There was almost single, double, and triple point contests. It was a whole different system. In this system, it's never been done. The one I'm eyeing is max points. Yeah. So 250 points is the absolute maximum points you can earn. And that means you've won 10 35 team contests, the maximum, team contest. So Brad's what is he? 2790? It's a big number. It's a huge number.
Yeah, it's Monday, right?
I mean, he can stop. I mean, I bet he can stop now, and he pretty much has seen the bag. I can't imagine somebody coming back and taking this from him. He's just the dude's a machine.
There's psychological
2798.
Yeah,
2798. There's psychological warfare here too. Can you imagine if you're thinking you're going to make a run at Team of the Year and it's not even May, and some guy has 2,798 points, and you're going, you know what? I'm going to save my energy and my effort for 26 because
I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, it's too. You're in your head. You're going, I can't catch that guy. I can't catch that guy.
Well, has there ever been? Because there could be a tie theoretically.
There's a factor for that already. FYI, I don't want to give away my entire May bullshit article, but I wrote about ties in KCBS. We like to think there's a lot of coin flips, but there are far less coin flips than actually happen. And I'll just tell you that for overall, it's a pretty simple tiebreaker, and that is that they look at contest 11, and if the tie isn't broken, they look at contest 12, and if the tie isn't broken, they look at contest 13. So it just keeps going until either one of the guys run out of contests and the other guy doesn't, or until they're just far enough apart that it breaks the tie.
Okay, it's good to know that it's there and it's already written down.
Yeah. It was that tiebreaker was written when the point system was created. So there's something in place.
I got you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you on your talking about the grants, accomplishment. But I was like, you talk about Brad. I'm like, I would be, remiss if I didn't talk about the Tom Brady season he's having right now. I mean, the dude's on fire.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I heard you talking before I came on. Do you know if this year's draft was the most watched on Saturday?
I don't, but I'm speculating it because I know personally I was glued to it the entire time to see 144.
I drove down to Southeast Kansas to see some friends who aren't big, they're casual sports fans. And when I walked in, the big screen was on the draft, and I thought that's strange. And first thing out of their mouth was, "He hasn't gone yet." I knew that already, but everybody was watching that. It's just incredible.
Just for
I'm
clarity,
surprised it went on CMT. It was on every news stage. Like the president was on. It was on every.
Who went first this year?
The Titans. I know, we'll screw him up. Don't worry about it.
Or
he'll be in the hospital ward. He'll be in the hospital ward before he's over. But no, we suck. It is what it is. Just like my barbecue, my sports teams suck too.
Another question for you, Rod. As far as KCBS goes, with we have the Invitational, we have the Royal, we have the Jack, and KCBS sanctions all three.
Yep.
Is there, within your vision, do you think that there's a chance to further reciprocity, like the Jack and the Royal do, like Memphis in May is maybe for Smoke Slam, or for these the Rib Association and whatnot? Do you think that there's a room or a need even to extend it to these other, let's say, large scale events?
When you say extend it, Matt, I'm not clear on what that means.
So let's take Smoke Slam. That is now in its second year.
Yep.
It's not a world championship. As far as I know, there's no current reciprocity with other sanctioning bodies.
Oh, yeah.
So an event like that, like the Rib Association, that has been going on for a couple of years now, I think. Is there an opportunity?
Like if you GC that, does that qualify you towards like an invitation or something? Is that what you're trying to say, Matt? Or
either that, or they have the Rib Association is obviously over a series,
a separate entity,
and they have their championship towards the end of their season, and Smoke Slam's a one big event. But yes, correct, to give a or acknowledge the winner of that gets an entry to the Invitational or
the Jack.
Well, the Jack's because that's a separate
sure.
I mean, you guys have leverage. Some people there, but
I would happily give an entry to Smoke Slam or to Memphis in May as an entry, and make those qualifiers for the World Invitational. Happy to do that. I don't know that we're exclusive enough. The whole thing that drives this is the exclusivity of the Jack, in that they take about 60 domestic teams, and that's paring it down from 300 contests around the country, plus the international folks. And so it amazes me. The four majors are Houston, Memphis, the Royal, and the Jack, and most of those have 150 to 200 teams, but the Jack has 60. But yet it is probably, by most standards, the most coveted of the four majors because of that exclusivity thing. But I'm not opposed to working out something with people if it's beneficial to both parties. I do know that if you're at Memphis in May this year, the very next weekend it's the World Invitational, so it'd have to probably be for the following year because I've cooked that event. You're tired dog.
That's a week-long event right there.
Oh, it is.
Well, and just at Springfest, yes, it was on the MBN side, but those were there for awards. And what's his name? It's chairman of Memphis in May. Mike and I said hello to him. Big tall guy. Anyway, they gave an entry to the MBN winner, which none of us kind of knew. So he gets to go cook it, next year, on the house per se. But I don't know. I asked because that kind of happened this weekend, and I was interested to pick your brain.
That's cool. You guys, you young dogs, you don't remember, but years ago, the person who ran the American Royal departed from the Royal and decided to start a new contest. Kind of the way that Smoke Slam and Memphis in May have gone, only the dates weren't the same.
Yeah.
And it was called the Great American Barbecue, and it was out. We had a horse racing and dog racing facility in Kansas when that was new, before casinos were a thing. And they had a ton of asphalt. So they went out there and set up and had a really great contest. I don't remember, but I think they have between 150 and 200 teams every year, and they would do an invitational and an open, just like everybody else does. And we had a great time out there. They added Jeff Daney came out on Friday night. They did a special brisket contest where you cooked a whole brisket. They tagged it. You cooked a whole brisket. You handed them a whole brisket. They took it inside and they sliced it. And the whole idea was don't give me the guys who know what to do to correct a brisket. Give me the guys who cook the best brisket.
I like that.
Because the best brisket cooks know after they've sliced it that they can do some things, to make it more moist, to give it more flavor, to do what needs to happen. But Jeff, who was a purist, wanted to find the teams who actually cooked the best brisket whole before it was sliced. And so that was a fun event. But yeah, and it made it. I don't remember, and I'm not trying to compare this to Smokeslam, but I think it made it 6 years or something. It was a great event, and we were horrible people. We'd cook the invitational, we cooked the open, and then we'd load up and go down to southeast Kansas, to Parson, Kansas, and cook the next day in another KCBS sanctioned event that was turning in on Monday. And that was the longest weekend in barbecue for me. But I think here's the thing. I think there's room for everybody. I think there's enough people and enough events. I think there's enough for all of us. KCBS has been around 39 years. COVID hit us pretty hard. I believe we're still building back. We still don't have the same number of teams we had pre-COVID, but we're growing. This year we've had, I tracked it through March. Through March, we had 24 new KCBS sanctioned events in 2025. So contests are coming back, and other people are wanting to get involved. I think we still have some room to grow here back to what we were and be what we were, but we're working on it. But I think there's room for everybody.
I mean, we as cooks obviously are huge, supporters of the KCBS, because without you guys and without the judges and everybody else, we would just be glorified tailgaters. So we love this sport, and we dedicate such a large portion of our life to the sport that we especially podcasters and anybody else who does anything that has to deal with barbecue. We're more than willing and want to help you guys spread the word and spread the gospel that is competition barbecue, because it's such an important part of our lives. But I have a question from a guest that I'm actually curious about. So TNS Barbecue Competition Team said again, could the opener invitational get to the level of an auto into the Jack or into the American Royal? Like, what does it take? What is it? All right, so you will know, if anybody on this show will know, you will know, what does it take to get to be a world final, or like a major? Would you consider the KCBS Invitational a major, or like, what does it take to get to that level?
I do consider it a major, and I think you honestly create your own definition. I think it's very similar to people calling themselves a world champion. A lot of folks create their own definition of that, and I'm not here to argue with those definitions. You guys decide. I see people who get a call at a contest and their barbecue becomes award winning. When I was fierce at it, that bothered me. These days, whatever advantage you have for marketing, but I think the KCBS Invitational is a world championship. I don't talk about it, and I probably won't talk about it here, but believe me, I have been working on convincing other people that the KCBS Invitational is a world championship.
Yeah, that is, it is our championship. We're not saying it. People think the American Royal or the Jack is the KCBS, championship, but this is the KCBS official world championship. So I think it should get the respect and honors just like the Royal and the Jack does.
One quick question about championship, because it's also further debated. If you win a category at a world championship, does it make you a world champion?
This is where I'm going with this, Matt. You call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. But us old farts, us old diehard cooks, you probably won't catch us calling a category win a world championship.
Well,
but
and it's not a misnomer.
Whatever they want to do.
It's not a misnomer to say I'm a chicken world championship cook.
Okay. All right. I'm fine with that.
A fair level.
I'm fine with that. I honestly don't call myself a world champion because I don't feel like I ever won an event that would make me a world champion. Yeah. I had a lot of success on the circuit and I did a lot of things and I won a lot of money. For some reason, I had the luck to go to the one big paying contest and win it over and over and over. I don't know what that was, but I never won a major. So I don't call myself a world champion.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Well, Rob, we're going to get you out of here here just shortly. I know you got some packing to do. You got an event tomorrow. You got to hit the road for. I mean, you got much miles on your vehicle as a trucker. It seems like these days.
No, not these days, but I used to. The year I won Team of the Year, I put 55,000 miles on my truck.
Yeah, you sound like me, man. Our mechanic's like, how old's this truck? I'm like 3 years. It's like, you got 110,000 miles. Like,
yeah. Yeah,
I sure do. But like I said, as you know, like I said, we're primarily back. I mean, we're not primarily back. We love everybody watching our show, but me and AJ and some of our hosts are backyard cooks. So I'll be remiss if I didn't, ask you a couple of backyard related questions, if that's okay with you.
It is, and I want to be able to make a statement about backyard when we're done. But I want to hear your questions first.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So when it comes to backyard, I mean, a lot of the stuff, because I mean, we talk and we have a good time, and some of our concerns when it comes to the KCBS is that we don't feel like we have somebody in our corner or enough adequate representation on the board. What is your opinion? I mean, obviously, your answer if you want to or not. What is your opinion about backyard having at least one board seat for backyard cooks only, just so we have adequate representation in the policies and rules that are going forward?
So directly to your question, Logan, I was on the board from 04 to 09, and now I'm in this role dealing with a board. And the issue, KCBS has never had any kind of true regional representation or, demographic or party representation. If anybody doesn't know it, it's a popularity contest. Anybody can run for the board as long as they've been meet the minimum criteria as a member for a certain period of time and be in good standing. So the way to voice your opinions are to vote somebody in place. Find a candidate that's pro backyard, and then all the backyard teams need to get behind that candidate and vote for that person and get them in. We had one last year out of Alabama, and I shouldn't have even brought it up because I can't come up with his name right this second. But I really thought he would. He was a backyard cook and a master judge, and I thought he was going to end up on the board. He didn't make it, but you guys should rally around somebody and get them on the board.
Yeah, I mean, because we're one half of the puzzle. So I feel like we just want I feel like representation and respect. I think backyard a lot of times it's about respect. We feel like we're the term quote unquote backyard, which brings me to my next question and final question of the night. We all seen the barbecue survey about 2 meat 4 meat survey that was released here not too long ago. Yeah. What is the meaning behind that, or what is the thought process behind 2 meat 4 meat pro? And what is there any updates as far as what the board is kind of considered?
No, so I'm going to start with the easiest question. There isn't an update. Mm-hmm. That survey concluded, and it was pretty close. I think it was. I might be off, but I think it was 53% for, 47% against, more or less. But what that did is told us that it's not, swayed in a specific direction, maybe quite as much as we initially thought. And so basically we're going to slow our roll a bit, and we're going to look into it. Well, we're going to form a group and really do a deep dive into it. But the idea actually started from something really simple. When I got on the board, when I got in this role at KCBS, it wasn't long after we received a petition, an email, asking a team wanted to revert back to the backyard. And right now, to do that, it has to go in the boardroom. Now, granted, I haven't had a ton of those in the nearly 3 years I've been there, but I bet we've had, let's just say it's 10. It's close. It could be 9, it could be 12, but it's right in there somewhere. And finally, somebody in the boardroom said, we need a way for the office to be able to rule on these requests to go to backyard. And we kicked around a lot of ideas for how we could find a more automated system that allows the office to act more swiftly and respond. And we didn't really come to a full conclusion on that. And I think that's the start of the idea of the 2 meat, 4 meat. So it would allow people to cook either kind of contest and go back and forth. Especially in situations where, 8 times out of 10, they had the time to go do a 4 meat 2 day 4 meat 2 day, because it does, it is a 2 day event. And then other times they could go cook a backyard or a 2 meat and do away with. I know backyard is not a term that folks that cook it in this series love. Initially, we never thought it would grow to be something that people would be like, oh, I hate that name. But I know some of the guys in the backyard group really don't like that name. And I get it, because somehow it indicates that those group of people are lesser than the masters. But no one ever thought that when they named it backyard. And what my statement was going to be this. I didn't know much about backyard when I came on. When I cooked for 20 years, we didn't have a division like that. And I went down to Gadsden, and what I met were a lot of people with a lot of enthusiasm for barbecue, happy, friendly, outgoing, excited to be there. And I also learned there are a lot of really great cooks who just don't have the time or maybe the finances to travel with the 40-foot rig and cook the 2-day events all over the country. But it doesn't mean they're lesser cooks. It just means that the priorities are different for them, whether it's a young family or whether it's somebody who works long hours or whatever it is. You guys you've proven it, and the 1 meats prove it too, that we have a lot of great cooks in the backyard series.
Right. I mean, that's a great. I mean, that's I'm with the same. Yeah, it's pretty spot on, man. I mean, I think the main thing for us backyarders was, it's not like you said, the level of competition. I mean, like for instance, this year at Smoke on the Shore, like in the open, the rib cook backyarder Smoky Bees, they won the rib contest, and that has some of the best cooks in the world there. So it's not the level of competition, because especially like I'm down here in Alabama, Southeast region where backyard is king, especially in Alabama. A lot of people stay backyard. I know personally, like it's the community we have down here, and it's the amount of contests, especially in the state of Alabama. There's not many masters contests. So for these teams, it's not a lack of talent or per se cooking ability. It's more of a regional thing and like you said, financial thing. I think the main thing that across the board, I talk to all the backyard, because I'm because of this show, I'm able to talk to people all over the country, and I like to kind of get everybody's opinions. Backyarders just like to have an opportunity. The one thing I liked about the 2 meat, 4 meat is we give somebody like me or some of the other guys a chance, if we want to throw our hat in the ring, to jack chase. I know for a fact I'll never be like you and Brad and some of the other really big players in the game for Team of the Year Pro Series, because I just don't have the time nor the financial means to do that. Right. But the other, the other big milestone that, everybody in the barbecue game, like we talked about in this podcast, is jack chase. I wish there was a way for a backyarder to be able to throw their hat in the ring to be able to jack chase and not be penalized for it.
Well, my only thing is, it's hard to say, hey, come step up and compete for a spot at the Jack Daniels, but be able to go back. I mean, I hear from backyarders all the time, and they want to talk about somebody who wins constantly, even in their division, and why don't they move up to masters? And we don't have that. We don't. I mean, we could probably spend another hour talking about just this topic, and I don't have all the answers, but sure. We don't control the Jack. They decide that it's got to be a Master Series 4 meat contest,
right?
But maybe somebody needs to lean on them a little more to have a backyard division of it.
Well, hold on. Isn't it sanctioned a competitor series?
It is sanctioned as a competitor series because it's an invitational.
Yeah, it's invitation. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
But no, my thing is like, instead of putting a limitation on how many master series you can cook in a year or total, limit. You do 1 or 2 master series per year and not be penalized. That was something that we kicking around and we talked about. Just something where you'd be able to throw your hat in the ring, once or twice, but not points chase per se in the master series, just to have an opportunity to possibly one day be in the jack.
You can do that. You can do that because you can cook up to 12 master series events before you get reclassified as a master series cook. However, should you win that GC or that RGC, then you automatically get eliminated from back.
Well, 2 now. There's
two
GCs.
Sorry.
Yeah, right. No,
yeah,
but yeah, technically you can. Like, I don't think it's ever been done, but it's just something that we as backyarders. Obviously, anybody in the barbecue game, the jack's the ultimate goal, or something you want to get to, and to be able to do that, you got to win a Masters. But Rod, thank you so much for coming on the show. I am excited to see you here in about about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And thank you for picking bourbon this year, because as a Kentucky boy myself, that is something I know, live and breathe.
Good. So I'll watch for your entry to come in.
That's right. Absolutely. No, I am excited. Like I said, we got the Derby coming up. It's a good month. It's a good month.
Yeah.
But
Logan, I know that Eric asked you to see if I could come on. I'm excited to be on. I'm glad you hooked the time. If I leave with one message, is we've got more time to get into the World Invitational. Come get that bag. We've got over $80,000 in prize money. We've got some fun events on Friday night just to kind of get everybody warmed up. I think it's going to be a really good year. Childs will get on me. Childs is the foundation committee chair, and don't forget, you guys, there's a foundation pop-up shop at the World Invitational where you can buy products like Eat Barbecue at a great price, and it all goes to scholarships for students of KCBS members. So
absolutely,
we're looking for a great time. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys down there. I want to buy some pickles from Matt if I can remember to do it.
They are pretty. It's funny, Matt. I saw in my my company's fridge, there's still a bottle of your pickles in there that had a few left. I was like, what are these doing in here? They were hidden in the back behind all the other stuff. I was like, all right. No, they are something to be tasted for sure. You got to try those, Rod.
7 pounds a batch. 7 pounds a batch.
They are pretty. That's small batch.
That is a small batch. There you go.
But all right, Rod. Thank you so much, man. Be safe on your travels, and I look forward to seeing you here in a few weeks.
We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for having me.
See you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. That was fun.
Mr. Rod Gray.
And once again, I totally forgot to give a giveaway, but you know what? I'm gonna do it right now. Hey, for everybody watching right now, or if you watch, share this podcast right here, and I'm got a nice little conglomeration of rubs. I got some let's see, I got some Butchers. I got Bobby T's, some of his new pizza sauce, his new Bobby T pizza dough. It's gonna be a pretty awesome gift pack. Pack P-A-C-K pack. No, I think I said pack and bag. Pag. It's gonna be a great gift bag. So, like I said, make sure you guys share this podcast. And like I said, little man, what's up? Well, that's the boss man right here. No, but
when are we gonna announce the winner?
Yeah, I will announce it tomorrow. So share, like, follow, and like I said, we appreciate you guys being here with us, and we hope you learned something, and we hope you enjoyed the content. But like I said, please share, like, and follow us. Share your friend. We love you guys, so show your love back, and thank you for hanging out with us. But Matt, you got anything else to say?
Nope. I think Rod did great. Answered some hard questions, some easy questions, and definitely looking forward to it coming up in end of May, which now I have to go back because I'm pretty sure I was vending it, and maybe I just got kicked out. I don't know and didn't even know it. But the good news is I now know I can do the rib burn on Friday night, and I got my chance at what he said, $2,000 and $500 extra if you use Compart.
Yeah, so I think he said there's $80,000 in total prize money.
Correct.
Spread out. So I mean, that's a bag right there, boys. That's a bag. So make sure you guys come out and get beat by me in the backyard. And no, I got third last year. I'm always third. I'm always the bridesmaid, never the bride. So and that's my thing. I was like, this is my year. I'm finally not going to be the bridesmaid, and then
you're gonna break it.
I'm like third place, small batch barbs, like son of a beast. But no, man, it's an honor, and there's so many great cooks out there. But thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. And as always, when it comes to barbecue, make sure you're always right on cue. See you guys.
That's all, folks.